Hey everyone, this is it. This is the preview for the stage 18 of the 2019 Tour de France, and tomorrow the epic battles for the control of the yellow jersey for the victory of the Tour de France in 2019 begins. Right, tomorrow is the first out of the days in the Alps, and tomorrow is a very, very hard day, 208 kilometers long, um, over some mythical climbs in the Tour de France. So we have one category 3, we have one category 1, and we have two order category over the category climbs. Now, there's a lot of details into this stage, but the first thing that will come to play tomorrow is the weather. Now, the start for a stage in Embrun is going to be sunny. It's going to be pretty hot for the mountains, so it's still going to be close to 30 Celsius, 86 Fahrenheit. We're looking at a sunny start, but by the middle of the stage, and now this is where the directeurs sportifs have a very tough job because they're going to have to watch this weather very carefully on the race radio, on their own computers, to kind of figure out where is the rain, what time and where the rain will come. Right now, the thunderstorms or rain are forecasted for the middle of the stage, so the latter part of the stage. And right now, the thunderstorms for the finish are going to be 70%. So definitely for the hairy descents of Isorade, right? Disorade, or for the last descent of the Galbier, it's going to be a problem, and I'm thinking it's going to be a major key factor um, in this stage, especially for the last descent, the 19-kilometer descent into Valor, where everybody's going to be going pretty much to win the Tour. And there's 19 kilometers of a descent. Last 750 yards is uphill, but especially the last 3 kilometer section is super fast, and it drops super fast into town. So if the roads are wet, and it looks like 70% chance for rain and a thunderstorm, we're in for an epic battle. So by the time they get to Valor, it's going to be 70% chance again. So the question is, where is it going to start raining? Is it going to start on top of or on the climb of the Disorade, or on a descent, or in a valley before Galibier? Again, key component to this stage is going to be weather. We saw a violent storm here for a little while today on the way to Gap, but it wasn't anything too major, right? And it was a flat road. But imagine the carnage that's going to happen tomorrow if the same type of storm comes right when they're getting over the top of the Izarad. So, again, I'm expecting, fireworks tomorrow if the rain holds and if the roads are super wet. So I kind of did the same what I did for the Pyrenees. Went through each climb very carefully. Kind of looked if there really are the length, if there really are the percentage, and kind of identified where possibilities for attacks would be. And we have two main possibilities for places where the huge possibility for an attack exists. So we have a third category climb early, coming 13 kilometers. Nothing too crazy. It's 3.9 kilometers at 5.2%. Okay. And then kind of a straight road all the way up to about 74 kilometers. There's a sprint finish. There's going to be a fighting for establishing of a break. I'm not sure when is it exactly going to get established, but I'm not looking for it to really form until the first major climb of the day, because this is where the real climbers will come out to fight to establish the break. So as with today, I'm expecting a big group to form, um, and go at it. I'm expecting for some of the names that I'm expecting to be in a break tomorrow, pretty much standard, right? Standard guys that are trying to to break. Early break, I would think Quintana would be there because they're going to try to use him for movie star leaders to set up the attack and help later on a climb to paste either Valverde or Landa, and that's a given. I'm pretty much sure that Landa or Valverde will try something tomorrow, a longer range attack. Um, Yates brothers are going to be there for sure. Simon's already got 2 stages. Maybe Adam feels better. Movie star will put their men in a breakaway. Either Soler for sure, right? All these guys are going to be there. Um, who else? Dan Martin will probably be in a break tomorrow. He's far enough, but fantastic climber. Hopefully he feels better. Molema is kind of high in the classification, but not too high. He's 19th, so he'll probably be out there. Vincenzo Niviali, if he feels good with that last descent to Valor, 19 kilometers, could be the one. Obviously Badret and the AGR, two guys. Pretty much half of the Astana team is going to be there, right? Frail, Court Magnus, Lutsenko, Peo Bilbao, all these guys are going to be probably on the attack. CCC probably Serge Powells and Simon Geschke. Rui Costa is going to be there. Not sure about Zacharine. He usually does that, but today he was in a break. Not sure about Ciccioni or Caruso's form because they haven't been in the tour. Maybe they're just saving themselves. So maybe Ciccioni, maybe Caruso, maybe guys like Dylan Tunis, although Dylan was in a break today as well. The first big climb of the day, Col de Vars, famous mythical climb of the tour, right? One of the big ones. And I looked at the profile in detail, and the climb is actually officially 9.3 kilometers, and it is at 7.5%. I looked at Strava, I looked at the GPS, the maps in detail, and the climb is really 8 kilometers long. So it's not, 9.3 is really rolling terrain, but the climb really starts 8 kilometers from the top, but it actually is pretty hard. The last 4.5 kilometers average 9.4%. So this is going to be a hard beginning of the stage, right? This comes at between 74 and 85 kilometers into the stage. There's a 1.5 kilometer section at 10.5%, so hard. And there is also a 250 meter section at 11% gradient. So very hard climb, especially that 8 kilometers. The last 4.5 kilometers, very hard. It is too far away from the finish to basically try something. But still, it's just going to be an elimination of the weak guys there, right? The teams are already going to be set up front. Not sure if De Kooning will chase or who will pick up the chase. But, by the top of the Col de Vars, you probably have all the sprinters and all the guys that don't feel good, and all the middle sprinters, the strong men, probably eliminated already. The descent off the Col de Vars, first part is technical. it shouldn't be too big of a problem because it's not going to be, raining just yet. Um, the road gets actually smaller, right? Uh, and actually the bottom part gets, actually, according to my notes, gets kind of hairy, okay, with several hairpins and a small road. Now I'm wondering about the condition of the roads itself, because it's super hot, and if it gets, it gets a little wet, oh boy, those are huge mountain roads. They're not like, wider roads like we saw in the tournament. So we'll have to see how the rain and weather will affect this stage. There's a 24-kilometer long valley road between Col du Vars and Col des Isorades, right? So too far away is Col du Vars from any type of the attack. It's just going to be a process of elimination. Now, the next climb is the key. So it's the order category, beyond category. Col des Isorades, I mean, famous climb in the, kind of a mythical climb in the history of the Tour de France. Of course, the moonlight, landscape up there is very famous with the pictures. So I looked at the detail of the climb. Officially, 14.1 kilometers at 7.3%. Deceiving because the climb is actually 15.5 kilometers, and I'm talking about a slope that would be more than 5%. So there's definitely a 6% and a 7% section beyond what they said was a climb. So the climb has an extremely hard middle section. We're going to take a look at Col de Vars and Col du Isorades right now in detail. And I'm looking right now at the middle section, right? So that's between 7.5 kilometers to go to the top of the climb, to 2.5 kilometers to the top of the climb. That 5 kilometer averages 9.1%. Okay? Within that section, there's a 1 kilometer that averages 10%. And there's a 200-meter section that averages 11.5%. So that steepest part of the climb is where the hairpins kind of end, and it's kind of exposed because there's not a lot of trees up there already. And so if there's no hairpins, you have no recovery time. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an issue, and this is where you're going to start seeing the brake, all broken up, right? Only that maybe like the 8 or the 9 riders, just a progressive elimination of the guys in the brake. This is where it's going to happen. And now you're going to see the main GC group whittle down on this climb to probably 20, 30 guys, right? Depending on how everything is, will take place. Big question here, right? When is it going to start to rain? Is it going to start to rain on the climb itself, or on the bottom, on a descent, right? This is going to be a big deal. And teams may be considering a longer attack here, because imagine this situation. Imagine if one of the movie stars, right, one of the movie star leaders now, Lando or Valverde, attacks on the climb, and they're watching the weather very carefully. On the descent, that first truly tricky part of the descent of the Isorade, he may pass that without the rain. Okay? And then it starts to rain for the GC group coming. So this could be a big issue here. And, similarly to the breakaway, if the breakaway gets more than 10 minutes and it passes early, right before the rain starts, and the rain comes for the GC group, that may cause some issues. Somebody may slip in that, in that climber's breakaway to kind of get back into the possibly top 12, 13 of the Tour de France. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. I'm expecting Movistar to have men in a front group, in the breakaway group, and I'm expecting them to use either Valverde or Landa. Possibly, I'm thinking, everybody's watching Landa now, but either Landa or Valverde will go here, and they'll save the other guy for the Galibier. So watch out for the long-range attack off the Isorad. Right, Isorad tops out at 133 kilometers, so it's still super, super, super early in the stage because we have 67, we have 75 kilometers left, okay, from the top of the Isorad. But who knows, it is kind of far away when you really think about it now, 73 kilometers for somebody to go. But this is where one of these guys may actually try it, especially if it's already raining, right? The descent of the Isorad is very technical in the beginning. I counted, where's my thing? I counted 20 hairpins in the first part of the descent of the Isorad, right? So super technical. We'll have to see how the rain is going. Now, once off the descent, so that'll be 20 kilometers, right, of descending. There's a looks like a 14, 15 kilometer valley road. So it's gonna be interesting here if the Movistar does the same thing what they did on the second Pyrenean stage, right? If they will send men up front and then they'll connect with Landa or Valverde in a valley, and they'll just take him through that valley. This is 15 kilometers from 152 to 166, so about 15, 16 kilometers before the Galibier starts. Okay, I'm not really expecting anybody else to go long range because only the Movistar is this crazy to send Valverde out on the attack like that. So I'm expecting Movistar to lead, and one of their favorites that is trying to catch back. They're both 5 minutes behind. Valverde's 5. Landa is like 4:54, so they definitely need time. So this will be the place where the first key moment for them to attack. Now, when Landa goes, right, or Valverde goes, now watch for Jumbo to pick up and chase them through that valley like they did already, right? So it's going to be kind of a classic thing. Now, once they get on the Col du Galibier, right, they officially say it's an order category climb, 23 kilometers, super long. The percentage is 5.1%, so kind of not very hard, but this climb is very tricky. 2,650 meters above the sea level. For those of you in the States, for those of you using feet, that would be 2,650 would be close to 9,000 feet. Okay, so 8,800 feet. 8,900 feet. Very high. Again, there's issues with air up there, right? It's gonna be if it's gonna be rainy. What about visibility? How is that going to affect the riders? By the way, Col du Isorad is 2,360 meters, right? That is over 8,000 feet, right? And Col du Vars is 2,109. So that's 7,400 feet. So visibility could be an issue on the last two climbs. I think Col du Vars is still going to be pretty good weather. So once we're through the valley, that we'll get to about 170 kilometers, and then we have that supposedly 23 kilometer climb of Col du Galibier. they're actually going through a climb called Col du Lataret first, right? So it's the easier side of the Galibier. It's not the hard Telegraph, Col du Telegraph side, but nevertheless very hard. And I looked at the climb in detail. It is not 23 kilometers, right? 23 kilometers is kind of a plateau that raises 3-4% in gradients, but the real climb starts 18 kilometers from the top, okay? But first 10 kilometers averages about 4.5%, so it's not that hard. Only really the last 8 kilometers are harder. Okay, so I looked at the climb in detail. 5 kilometers of that 8 kilometers is at 7%, so hard enough to make an attack. The last kilometer, though, is gonna be 9.1% average. Okay, 9.1% average for the last kilometers before they go over the top. 250 meters of that is at 11% pitch. And if I was going to look for one place where the GC guy will go, there'll be several attacks. It'll be right there. At about 1.5 kilometers from the top of the Galbier, this is where at least one or two guys will go. How will this play out? I'm thinking that from about 8 kilometers, when the climb of the Galibier gets hard, FDJ will go up front and they will just eliminate the guys, just like they did in the Pyrenees, right? Gadou will come up front and will just set the tempo, and the guys will get in trouble, whittle them down to about, 10, 9, 8 guys, right? So it's going to be extremely important if it rains for somebody to try his best to stay with the best over the top, because then we have 18 kilometers down, and it's the first part of it is actually super twisty, okay, and it's super hard and it drops very, very quickly. So there's going to be a lot of hairpins in like the first maybe 4 or 5 kilometers of that descent of the Galibier. So this is where the difference could be made, right? So situation at about 8 kilometers left from the top of Galibier, there should be a break of 2-3 guys now breaking away pretty much about 3-4 minutes ahead, and then behind there's going to be a very whittled down small GC group with FDJ leading, and in between I'm expecting Landa or Velvelde and Movie Star CEO to kind of lead already there by 30, 40, 50 seconds. So we'll see how that plays out. Now over the top, 1.5 kilometers, especially the last kilometer of that hard stage, of that hard gradient, the 9%, there's going to be a favorite attacking there. I'm thinking it's going to be Pinot. If Pinot goes, right? If Pinot goes and attacks, Bernal will go with him, 100%, right? And then Alaphilippe probably learned his lesson and will control Thomas and will control Kreiswick or anybody else that's left. I kind of liked the return of Richie Porte the other day. He kind of came back to the group. So maybe Richie Porte is recovering, has a little bit more strength now. Rigoberto Urán, whether he'll stay with the group or not, I don't know. But nobody really else I see. Probably Bookman will be with the group still. And then we get over the top, so I'm expecting Pinot and Bernal to attack right here, and then we're getting a super fast descent. If it's wet, right? If it's wet, somebody will make the mistake, right? Somebody will make mistake on the descent. How is Pinot descending? How is Geraint Thomas feeling after his crashes? Those are going to be the two guys they're going to be, we're going to be looking at in detail. Alaphilippe is very good descending. Now, the last 3 kilometers of the descent drop super fast, and then we get to 750 yards to go, and we have a climb actually, which I didn't know about. There's a 750-yard climb, and that's between 4 and 5%. So the finish is actually really good for Alaphilippe. Technical, the beginning of the descent. The bottom of the descent is technical, drops super fast, and there's a little punchy climb to the end, which Alaphilippe may actually be able to get few seconds there. Now, team tactics, right? Um, Whatever they do, the teams must try to put pressure on Alaphilippe early on, not wait till the next day. So they have to make the race super, super fast and the hardest they can, so they can try to drop Alaphilippe. Already put him in trouble, maybe on a Isorada they can, or on maybe like on that last 8 kilometer section of the Galbier, which is actually probably more possible, right? And then so he doesn't catch back on the 19 kilometers. He's a very good descender, okay? Enric Mas is going to be a key. The Swiss guy for De Koenig, for Alaphilippe, is going to be a key. How is De Koenig Quick Step team? That's going to be another question. So over the top situation, I'm expecting a couple of breakaway guys surviving the climbers. Then I'm expecting Landa or Valverde with the movie star helpers Soler and Cantana to go over the top. And then I'm expecting a whittled down GC group and one of the guys from that to attack within 1.5 kilometers to go. It's probably going to be Pinot tagging on Bernal. That's what I'm expecting. Um, I'm sure Movistar will animate. Okay, I'm sure they will go on at least the Isorad, right? Kind of far away from the finish, but we'll just have to see. But I'm expecting a Movistar to go early because they're 5 minutes behind. The big question of the day is what happens to Alaphilippe. Very long stage, very hard stage. However, the last climb kind of is good for him because it's not very steep. It's very long but not steep. Only the last kilometers you can like last 8 kilometers you can make a difference. Descent, he's good descending to the finish, and he's good on the last little punchy climb towards the finish. So I'm not actually expecting Alaphilippe, if he's smart or if he's really got any power left, to lose time tomorrow to the 6 guys that are in contention supposedly. What I'm expecting tomorrow is Landa or Valverde, if they attacked early with a movie start, to gain between 40 seconds and a minute and 20. So get closer to within 3.5 minutes of Alaphilippe. That's my expectation tomorrow for a GC. The question is whether Pinot and Bernal will get anything. That's the main question, right? Whether they will get anything over the top of the climb, and whether they will get anything at the finish, whether Alaphilippe will chase him down before the finish. Good question, right? Boy, I don't know. I personally am not sure. I think maybe 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds will be gained between Pinot and Alaphilippe. But this we have to watch. This is going to be a key here, right? There are bonus seconds on top of the Galibier. There are bonus seconds on the finish line, but I think the breakaway will take them. I'm thinking that Alaphilippe will actually not lose any time tomorrow, right? Bold prediction. And I'm thinking he'll actually gain time on Thomas, and he will gain time on probably Bernal. I think he'll catch back to Bernal, catch back to Pinot. I think he'll gain a little time on Kreiswick and a little time on Geraint Thomas, but I don't think this is the end of the Tour de France. I think it's a totally different ball game tomorrow, and especially the next day. I think he'll survive in yellow tomorrow. So for victory, my bold prediction for victory tomorrow. I'm thinking out of the main favorites tomorrow, I think Badret looks really good. I don't know how Warren Barguil will he choose to kind of stay with the guys. Will he try any attacks? I think Badret or AGR two guys will win tomorrow. I think it's going to be one of the Yates brothers, which will be very competitive towards the end. I think Daniel Martin, I think Molema, maybe Nibiali. I think towards the end, maybe Mr. Geschke, right, for a CCC. But I think tomorrow is going to be definitely a stage for either one of the Astana guys, right? Probably Omar Freire, Peo Bilbao, or Mr. Lusenko, Magnus Kort, right? I would expect either AGR or Astana or one of the Yates brothers to make the win. Now, of course, there's another battle going out for the polka dot jersey. I'm expecting for Wellens to be out on the break. I'm expecting him to drop off after the Vars, so he'll get points on the Vars. He'll probably drop off on the Isorad. If he survives Isorad and gets a little points before Pinot, then that could be good for him. But I think Pinot tomorrow makes a major stride towards the polka dot jersey, and I think he won't take it tomorrow, but he'll take it the next day. Okay, so I'm really curious about your predictions for tomorrow. Super exciting day tomorrow. I cannot wait already. I have no idea. I can only give you a prediction, but not a single reporter out there knows exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. With the weather, with everything else, the drama is going to be definitely a part of it. Bet conditions, heat, the guys are tired. The leader doesn't have a team. Okay. Then there's the issue: who's going to control the race? Then the movie star animating things. So I'm really curious about your predictions for tomorrow for the first Alpine stage. I'm curious whether Alaphilippe keeps the jersey or he doesn't. Whether Landa and Valverde gain time tomorrow, and whether Pinot and Bernal get time on Alaphilippe, Geraint Thomas, and Kruijswijk. And the last question is whether Alaphilippe gets time on GT and Kruijswijk. I'm doing these previews. I really enjoy doing them, so hopefully you appreciate it, and hopefully you can subscribe or hit like if you liked them. Make a comment. I always like answering them. And enjoy the tour tomorrow. Whatever you do, record it, right, and then watch it. If you can watch it live, it's definitely going to be fireworks. I'm all fired up. I can't wait. I went for a ride yesterday. Did my little loop of 27 miles yesterday, close to the water. It was beautiful and certainly felt inspired. And I feel like I have a little bit of power, more power than when I started at the beginning of the Tour de France. So this is great, but still really suffering on those little climbs I have. I mean, my climbs are, they're steep, but they're like 50, 60, 100 yards long. So it just gives me more respect to what these guys are doing, right? Writing all of this, because I'm going through a lot of suffering on the little climbs and on my 27-mile loop or whatever it is. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you again, and enjoy the tour tomorrow. And stay tuned for the recap of today's stage, and stay tuned for a preview for the second Alpine stage. Thank you.